The morning air was crisp as Lily stepped outside with her red backpack bouncing against her back and a lunchbox tucked carefully in her hand. The street was busy with neighbors hurrying off to work, horns honking in the distance, and bikes whizzing past. But Lily wasn't like the others. She noticed the little things. The wilted flower growing between sidewalk cracks, the elderly man who always smiled from his porch, and on this particular morning, a quiet movement in the alley beside the bakery. She paused. There, curled beside a dented trash bin, was a thin, shivering dog. His fur was matted, his ribs visible beneath his skin. His eyes held a mix of fear and sadness, as if the world had long forgotten he existed. Dozens of adults walked past him, eyes glued to their phones, coffee cups in hand. But Lily didn't move on. She crouched slowly, unzipping her lunchbox. Inside was her favorite sandwich, peanut butter and jelly, cut into perfect halves just how her mom made it. She hesitated, then looked at the dog again. Gently, she unwrapped one half and placed it on the ground a few feet away. "You need this more than I do," she whispered. The dog didn't move right away. He just stared, unsure. Lily smiled softly, stood, and continued walking to school without looking back. She didn't know it yet, but that small act, a sandwich given with a full heart, was about to change both of their lives forever. The days that followed felt different for Lily. Every morning on her walk to school, she glanced toward the same alley, wondering if the dog would still be there. And he was. Each time, he looked a little less afraid. His ears perked up at the sight of her red backpack, his tail giving a hesitant wag. She continued to bring food, bits of toast, some apple slices, even pieces of leftover chicken wrapped in a napkin. She never tried to touch him. Instead, she'd speak softly, leaving the food a safe distance away before stepping back. She named him Shadow, because he was always quiet and close, but never quite within reach. She told no one, not her teacher, not her classmates, not even her parents. It became her little secret, a gentle ritual between a kind-hearted girl and a dog who had likely never known love. Each day, Shadow grew braver. One morning, Lily found him sitting upright, tail thumping on the pavement. He didn't eat right away. He waited for her to smile, then slowly crept toward the food. Still, she didn't reach for him. She just watched, quietly. But then, one rainy morning, Lily arrived at the alley, and Shadow was gone. The space was empty. No wagging tail, no soft eyes. Just the sound of raindrops hitting puddles. Her heart sank, but she placed the food down anyway, whispering, "I hope you're safe, Shadow." Then, with a heavy heart, she walked to school in the rain. A week passed, and Lily's steps to school felt heavier without her morning visit to Shadow. Each day she glanced toward the alley, hoping to see his familiar shape, but the corner remained empty. The food she left behind often stayed untouched. Still, she never stopped bringing it. Then came Friday, a sunny afternoon, warm and bustling as the school bell rang and children spilled out onto the sidewalk, laughing and chasing each other toward waiting cars and bikes. Lily walked slowly, distracted by the thought of Shadow. She didn't notice the speeding car turning the corner too fast. A sudden bark shattered the noise. Everything happened in a blur, a flash of movement, tires screeching, people shouting. Lily felt a jolt as something bumped her backward, just enough to send her stumbling out of the path of the car. When she opened her eyes, she was on the ground. In front of her, lying still in the street, was Shadow. Her breath caught in her throat. "No," she whispered, crawling toward him as tears filled her eyes. "Shadow." Teachers and bystanders ran over, but all Lily could see was the dog who had once cowered from people, now risking everything for her. His side rose and fell faintly. He was alive, but barely. Blood stained his fur. Lily clutched his paw gently, her tears falling onto the pavement. The dog she had fed with love, had just saved her life. And now, he needed her. The animal clinic smelled like antiseptic and hope. Lily sat in the waiting area, clutching a worn towel with Shadow's blood on it, her eyes red and puffy. Her parents, now fully aware of her secret bond with the stray dog, sat beside her, stunned and silent. They had never imagined their little girl had spent weeks caring for a stray in secret, and that he had returned the kindness by saving her life. The vet came out, his face serious but calm. "He's stable," he said gently. "He has a broken leg and some internal bruising, but he's a fighter. He's going to be okay." Lily let out a shaky breath and burst into tears. This time, tears of relief. Word of what had happened outside the school spread fast. That evening, neighbors and teachers began sharing Lily and Shadow's story on social media. A girl gives her lunch to a stray dog, and that same dog saves her life. The town was moved. Donations poured in to cover Shadow's medical bills. A local shelter offered support. A nearby restaurant pledged daily meals for strays in Lily's name. The same people who had once walked past Shadow now wanted to help. A child's quiet kindness had awakened something in their hearts, something they had forgotten in the rush of daily life. What started with a sandwich had become a wave of compassion. And Shadow, the forgotten alley dog, had become a hero no one could ignore. The sun was warm, and the backyard was alive with the gentle rustling of leaves and the sound of distant laughter. A soft breeze carried the scent of freshly cut grass. On a cozy blanket beneath the old maple tree lay Shadow, his leg wrapped in a small cast, his eyes half closed in peace. His once matted fur was now clean and brushed, his body stronger, his spirit no longer afraid. Lily sat beside him with a picture book in her lap, reading aloud as her fingers gently stroked his ear. Her red backpack rested nearby, still carrying snacks, but now for a friend who would never go hungry again. Her parents watched from the porch, quietly amazed by how love had transformed not just the dog, but their daughter, and even their community. Shadow lifted his head slightly when Lily laughed at something in her book, his tail thumping the grass. It was a soft sound, but it carried everything: trust, joy, home. Looking up, Lily turned to her mom and said, "I think love comes back to you, sometimes with a tail and a bark." Her mom smiled, her eyes misty, and nodded. "Yes, sweetheart. It really does." As the camera pulls away, the image lingers. A little girl and her dog, bound not by words or rescue papers, but by a bond far stronger, a pure act of kindness that echoed into something truly unforgettable. Shadow had been saved, but so had everyone else who learned to see through Lily's eyes.